Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Steph, and today I wanted to share with you a very special canvas that I received this week, yesterday actually, from Jaded Gem Shop. So this is a small shop in the diamond painting community that provides mostly made-to-order canvases, although she does have quite a good selection these days of canvases that are in stock and ready to ship that she kind of keeps on hand. And there's two different kinds of charting styles that she works with and offers her customers. So I wanted to share with you this canvas in particular. I'm very, very excited about this because this is by an artist named Jemooshka, and she does a lot of incredible, especially like portrait styles of different fantasy characters or whatnot. And she was licensed with Jaded Gem Shop up until I think like a year or a year and a half ago. And this image had been previously available there. So I had been a part of the Jaded Gem Shop group on Facebook, All Things Jaded Gem Shop. Join there for sure. You can see lots of people, including myself, enjoy posting our works in progress or finishes there. And I had seen this one and was like, oh my gosh, this is a unicorn of a canvas for me. And I had contacted, I saw that it was no longer available, and I had contacted the artist and said, hey, would you give me your permission, sorry, to get this image licensed and printed at Jaded Gem Shop again? And at that time, that wasn't possible. So, fast forward to like sometime this fall, I think it was maybe September or October, she was relicensed with Jade, and this image, along with like maybe one other, was released and from her, and I was so excited I couldn't get on this fast enough. So what I have for you here is, if you saw it from the thumbnail, is the collector. So here we have G for Glimmer, I think. Jaded Gem Shop, 541-A7095. That's 70 centimeters by 95 centimeters. She's a big one. And 3 glimmer drills were added. So those are the only specials that I added to this. I do plan on blinging up some more of the canvas. So let's get into this. Oops. There may also be some other, I'm looking for my scissors. There may also be some, I'm expecting some drills in here that I ordered separately for my Diamond Art Studio UK temperature project, and I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so here we go. Set of drills for me. Okay, so these hopefully are all the drills that I asked for separately. We'll see. All right, so what's in here? Ooh, we've got some nice textured washi. I have noticed that she's starting to include different patterns. This was the traditional jade tape, which I use for many things. I love how thin this is, and it works really well. So this is what you get. You usually get some washi tape, a cover minder. Oh my gosh. There's no way Jade knows this, but I've previously said in my videos that this is my absolute favorite cover minder that she sends. Cover minder, I'll explain what that is when I get to look at the canvas. It's just a way for you to, something to hold back the plastic. So I'm gonna stick that right there. And then, what else do we get? Okay, so they do come in a nice sturdy box. Nice for storing. Love that the image is on the side. Although I will trash this because I cannot store boxes. Okay, so we can see along here, this is our color story. Wow, so there's 63 colors. There's 63 colors, and we have 1, 2, 3 glimmer drills. Ooh, Glimmer 310. That's one of my favorites. Glimmer 498. And Glimmer 959. Now, the person that I saw in the group who had done this one like a year or two ago, or finished it a couple years ago, she had like ABs, metallics, and glimmers, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Whoa, okay, this is a really big canvas. I'm trying to just get the drills. Woo, okay. So we've got 4 packs of drills. Oh, look at that blue. Ooh, this is so my color story. That is gorgeous. Absolutely insanely gorgeous. So on these bags, I love that it tells you what number out of 4. So if you store your drills like I do outside of the box, it's easy to, if maybe you find one of these and you're like, oh wait, this is 2 out of 4, I should have 4 of these. What I like to do is, let me see if I have one right here. This is from an older canvas, okay, that I'm working on. You can actually see I've used it for 2 canvases. What I do is I use a little thermal printer, and you can see the image isn't great. Now these are also 2 of Jade's canvases, and what I do is I print out a picture of the canvas that these drills I'm currently working on. So previously it was for this Rinlin Soup Night, which I did I believe show in a month in review back in November of 2025. And then this right here is one I'm currently working on. I'm set to finish this one today at the end of December 2025. So what I do is I use these to store the different drills, okay? And I put the I'll put the image of the collector, which is the name of this, right here, so that when it gets stored with everything else, or if it ends up getting stored and I don't end up opening it and working on it right away, it'll have the picture. But I do actually reuse these bags a lot. So I will keep this. Now this is a canvas that, oh my gosh, look at that glimmer drill. Oh my God, it's right there. Whoa, that is so pretty. Look at that. I really enjoy Jade's drills. These are glimmers, shimmers, fairy dust, all that little fine mica powder on the drills itself. There's a little magenta straggler in there. I bet this is going to be her hair. In her hair. That is gorgeous. So they see this, it's a little bit chaotically organized, but it's not too bad. It might take you a little bit longer to kit these up, but I mean, nothing too bad, you know? So, I love these. And what I do is I'll like use a bag and I'll put the number on them that, like, if it's, you know, color number 1, color number 2, this right here, and I will just with Sharpie, I'll write right next to it, I'll write like color 1, 2, whatever, because I kit up into trays and I label my trays like this, so that the next time when I'm working on the piece and I need to refill a tray or a container or whatever, I have it and I can see where it goes and helps me organize. And there's bound to be an excess of extra bags because this is such a huge canvas. Okay, so I'm going to put that away for now. Now, this canvas, like I said, it is huge. I'm going to, whoops, roll it backwards so that I can, and that's so that I can, I should finish the thought, shouldn't I? So that I can get it to lay a little bit flatter. Honestly, this is bigger than I thought it would be, but I wanted to get it with as much detail as possible because I saw the one that was done in the group and this is the size she had it done at and it looked incredible. A couple other special things you get with Jade's canvases, this amazing double-sided release paper, which so Jade's canvas, you'll see in a second, does come with a very nice thick cover sheet plastic. I love her plastic that she uses. Very good, very easy to work with, and I don't tend to use release papers with this, but I love using release papers with my cross-stitch conversion projects. So these I always keep. And then we have our sticker sheet, okay? So it's got 63 colors. Here's the original picture of the artwork. Also, Ariel was my absolute favorite princess growing up. I'm sure there's a lot of us that grew up with her wishing we were mermaids, and that was me. And I always thought, why the heck does she want to become a human? Why? You're a mermaid. That's really cool. So even now as an adult, I'm like, I'd probably stay in the sea, but you know, everybody's got their own opinion on that. So we've got all of our colors here. As you can see, I'm not going to go through a drill train, but what I will do is I will pick out the special drills and I'll show you where those go on the canvas. So here we've got our 310, our 498, and our 959 specials. Now this number right here, so this is the DMC, this number right here is approximately how many drills this canvas required. Now that being said, I have never, no, I cannot say that. One time I ran out of drills for a Jaded Gem Shop canvas, and I know that she would be more than happy to send them out to me, but because this is a small shop where she doesn't keep a lot of stock on hand, I knew I'd be waiting. That was in the Soup Night Rinlin piece that I did that I talked about in my month in review. So, and I was able to substitute it out, no problem. Now I do keep my spare drills just in case. Jaded Gem Shop drills are incredibly high quality in my opinion. They're actually my absolute favorite drills to work with of any company I've ever worked on. Besides, I think Enablers Outpost and Jaded Gem Shop must use a similar manufacturer because their drills seem pretty similar. So I love those too. And also very sad about Enablers Outpost. They are no longer producing diamond painting canvases, but they are still doing pen turnings, so definitely go support them. I have a couple pens turned by them. They are incredible people to work with. Anyway, yeah, little side note there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to show you this Jemooshka canvas. Okay, it's big. It is big. So let's see how it went. Okay, alrighty. So we've got Jade's socials up here. We've got a nice, I love that she puts this green border here. It's classy, you know, it makes it look really nice. She's got her little brand up here. And then we've got the name of the piece and the artist. So the collector and Jemooshka. And you can find a lot of Jemooshka's work. She actually has her own website. I will link it in the comments, or this, not comments, I'm sorry, the sidebar. And she also has an Instagram, so I would recommend that you go follow her there. Ooh, this is like a tapestry. Holy cow. Okay, this is incredible. So, wow, look at her face. That is so cool. I have never seen anybody unbox this one on YouTube and look at this. So I'm really hoping that this will help some of you out, because this is why I decided to make the channel, was to show things that I don't see a lot of other creators doing. So yeah, you can see this is a very detailed canvas. This is done in the hybrid rendering style. So I told you before that Jade has two different styles that she produces her canvas renders in. She does pixel charted, which is a very hand rendered, touched up, very heavily human involved. And then she has her hybrid style like this. And what that means is that she goes through the image. So normally what people do is they will put an image in a like pixel creator, pattern creator type of program, and it'll spit out something that looks like this. And what Jade does is she then goes through this part. I'm sorry, not this part. She will go through the artwork and kind of touch it up a little bit in places where it makes sense to do so. So there is minimal human hands touching this up, but there's still a little bit. That's why she calls it hybrid, because it's computer charting as well as a little bit of her own touch. Now, especially when we get into the special drills, this canvas is so big, it's hard to show you. But that is definitely something that is considered, you know, is where she's going to put the specials. Most of the time, I request glimmer drills being added to my Jade's canvases. I'm not like a huge A/B person or anything else, but I have noticed that for the most part, where she designs to put these special drills do make sense to me. To highlight the canvas. Every once in a while in one of her canvases, there'll be a glimmer drill somewhere where I didn't expect, but I just kind of consider that like a fun bonus. So this is Ariel. She looks amazing. I am so excited for this. So in terms of confetti versus color blocking, because I know that with the hybrid style, that's something that people really kind of get curious about and or even worried about. So this is hybrid rendered, which means we're going to have more confetti here than we would with a pixel charted or a heavily hand rendered piece. Now I prefer a good mix of both on a canvas. What is color blocking? What is confetti? So with the confetti, it's literally like, I always think of like someone at a birthday party and they take a handful of confetti and they go shoo, and it's like it all falls all over the canvas, right? Color blocking is when you have a big section of the same color and you're not changing it out in your tray, right? Or changing trays as I do. So if I look over here at the top left of the canvas, you can see that even though these are similar colors, they're not necessarily color blocking. So like this little, this reminds me of Star Wars, that symbol where it's almost an A and then a slash. So you can see a lot of those colors like intermixed, okay? And then you can see right next to that, all of this like slash sign, that is a block of that color, okay? So for me, that's gonna go pretty quickly because I do multiplisters. Oh, I totally forgot to mention this. This is the square canvas, okay? So this is the square version of the canvas. Likewise, we have quite a bit of color blocking right here. See this symbol D? Okay, you can see this symbol right here. So those are color blocking. Now, if we look at the fork that she's reaching for, see all the different color changes in there. That is confetti. Okay, so even this right here, confetti. I'm guessing maybe that's like a bubble or something. If I look at Ariel in her hair, now this is very much intermixed. Like you can see there are areas of the same color. Like look at that, like this right here, like that's a big block. But then we have over here some confetti, and what that's going to do is this is going to lend you towards a much softer rendering style, very detailed though. But then if we look at her face, we can see the shading. I think the shading is done really well here. We can see patches of dark and pink and brown in her face. And while that may scare some of you away, like why does she have, you know, this dark of a color on her face? It has to do with the shading of the piece, the color palette, and it usually turns out extremely well. I've never had an issue with this. I've done a couple Disney princesses from Jade, and the eyes, the faces are rendered beautifully from different artists. So, and we can see in her eye, there's a lot of confetti in there, which is going to give us a really beautiful look. Same thing with her mouth. So as I'm looking down this canvas, I'm just seeing a lot of, some areas are very color blocky. Like I see a lot of line blocking down her arm. Line blocking is when we have a line of the same color. Like you can see this symbol right here, J, 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 right? And that's all like one line of color. So we call that line blocking. You might also notice that I'm like sort of folding the canvas and ruffling it up a little bit. I'm not really doing that on purpose. I'm just trying to show you this. But because of the materials that Jade uses, this canvas is going to be totally fine. Ooh, then we look at her tail and we can see a lot of confetti in there as well. A lot of her hair, parts of her arm are blocked. That's cool. The background is going to be beautiful. So yeah, we can see her skin in here, and you can see it's very confetti heavy. And like I said, I did this with a portrait of Belle by Mari945, and that portrait turned out absolutely incredible. And there was so much confetti in the skin and weird colors, I thought at the time, but trust the process and it works out. So here's her tail. So if you remember, that heart symbol was the Glimmer 310. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to pause you here. I'm going to pull out the special drills and look for them on the canvas because this is such a massive canvas. To respect both of our times, I want to get back with you on those. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back to share with you where I found the glimmer drills charted in this. Bear with me, folks, because there's a lot. So these are the 3 examples that we have of our glimmer drills. This is not the total quantity that you'll be using. There's plenty of extras in here. Now, the G959, this teal, as you can see, that's a very pretty, oh, this is so pretty. Very pretty shimmer. They're all pretty, but the red really pops. I love that red. And the 310 glimmer. 310 glimmer is interesting because unlike a lot of other colors, and I've worked with Glimmer 310 from a couple different shops, Glimmer 310s tend to alter the black. So as you can see up close here, it's almost like this silvery bluish black, which I think in this piece where I found it charted is going to work amazing. And I have enough 310 that if I really wanted to change some out because it didn't look like what I wanted it to, I could. But I don't expect to be doing that. In general, I love 310 and I love the Glimmer Drill 310 even more. I like how this is more of a silvery shimmer. Sometimes with Glimmer 310s that I've ordered from other shops, I've never had a Jade 310 Glimmer. But from other shops I've gotten Glimmer 310s that some are like a gold finish and some are more silver finish. And what I did was I used that on a canvas. My first canvas I finished in 2025, Space Dragon, which I did not share on the channel at the time. And he's got all these different glimmers in him, the gold and the silver. And mixed together, it looks really cool, but up front, it looks kind of weird. So it was good to see that these are all the same kind of glimmer on there. Anyway, I digress. So I did write the symbol that we're going to be looking for each of these. So let's start at the top of the canvas, okay? And because this is so big, I'm going to keep the camera panned out, but then bring you up close to try to show you, okay? So I figured what we'd do is go section by section in the canvas. Now, I'm not saying that this is completely, you know, what's the word, exhaustive. I definitely am sure that I have missed some somewhere, but it'll give you a general idea of what to expect and where the glimmers go. Okay, so for that teal, let me grab this here. So for this one right here, this is the symbol T, right? And so at the top of the canvas here, we have it here, okay? And we can see it's like sprinkled. No, not there. But you can see it's sprinkled all through here. And it's a really nice highlighting color that she used for this, because in the original artwork, this is sort of like highlighted this because of the light over here is charted that way. And so it's really cool to see it kind of swirled around the fork. So it's a really good thing to use there. Now, as far as the other color in here, I did not see, except for the rare exception, and this is what I mean by confetti, there's this one little heart right there to put for a glimmer black. Now, because it's right there, I could just, you know, use another color that's right next to it instead of putting a little dot of black. It's up to every painter how they want to do it. So then we're going to get into her hair, and we're looking for the symbol 9, right? Let me pull this a little bit closer. So we're going to see this one throughout her hair, not in big chunks, but definitely a little bit of everywhere. So let me pan you out. So this is where we have the beginning of her face, and I'm seeing the 9 just sprinkled throughout here. So you can see it's this sort of darker red maroon color, and you can see it's just, there's a ton of it like here. There's a ton of it over here. It just kind of goes throughout her hair. And then we have, even in her hair, you can see we have some of that black 310 glimmer. So that's going to give it more of like a black silver effect. So that's one place where I might decide to change it out for like a different red or something, if I was going to change it. I tend to just go with what looks best, put some drills down, and very rarely do I change something that's charted, but just in case. In terms of her eyes, I didn't see any specials in there. But you know, you just continue to kind of see that red glimmer drill here and here throughout her hair really, and it's just in long, I'm just at this so unwieldy. It's just like long lines of here and here and here. So it's going to be like a really pretty highlighting shimmer effect. I really love. I mean, of course they had to put it in her hair, right? Now, as we get down into her hand area, when I say hand area, I just mean like her hand-ish and the space around her hand. I'm just seeing more of that like red glimmer in her hair. I do see a little bit more of the teal glimmer in these bubbles. Okay, so that's really cool because the original artwork, the bubbles really draw your eye to what's going on in the canvas. And then, okay, so we have continued to have some glimmer, the red glimmer drill kind of throughout her hair. We have it along this side of her face, this tendril that's going down. These big swirls of hair have big chunks of the glimmer, okay? And by big chunks, let me show you what I mean. Like this is all that red, focus. This is all that red glimmer, okay? So I think the effect on her hair is gonna be, it's gonna have enough glimmer in her hair to really bring out the highlights in a subtle way. But there's going to be a slew of other hues of red in her hair that are going to just make it look amazing. I can tell. Okay, and then interdispersed, like underneath her neck and stuff, we have like little patches of our black 310, or little here, little there. That'll make it kind of fun. And then as we get over to the left side of the canvas, I want to draw your attention to where her tail starts. So this is sort of like the back fin, and we've got that glimmer right here. So we've got a ton of that glimmer tea. See all those teas? So that'll be really pretty to like see that glimmer shown in her tail. And then as we continue to go, we're gonna see some of the black glimmer in her shells. You can actually tell it's the brightest little symbol right there. That's the heart. So you can see where all those are very nicely. And then of course we've got this other bubble right here, or no, actually that's the other part of her tail. I really like how the back fins, the two bifurcated fins kind of like come up from the dark, and then her tail kind of like fades into the background. So we've got some of that green teal glitter in here, and of course the hair, we just continue to get that red shimmer, so that's really cool. And then continuing to look, let me move my coffee, continuing to look like in this bottom part of her tail, we've got chunks of the green glimmer, like you can see right here. When I say chunk, I mean like this. So we've got little blocked sections of that going throughout here, and then there's little bits here, like here. It's just kind of outlining some of the scales on her bigger part of her tail. And then this is actually all part of her tail, and this is all that black 310 shimmer. So where it normally would have been just black, this is all glimmer. There is a ton of black glimmer in the bottom part of your canvas right here, because we've got this huge color block section. See the heart? The white heart that stands out? Kind of hard to miss it, right? So that's a huge section. And then coming up here, this is kind of highlighting the other black part of her shimmer, of her tail. It's kind of highlighting like the back part of her fin. So that's really cool. And then we have little bits of tea, little bits of the green teal kind of splattered throughout here. And we have like this really cute little starfish over here. And we're going to have a lot of 939, very dark navy blue in this canvas. Some people hate 310. They hate it. It's their bane of existence in terms of their diamond painting hobby. And for me, it is 939. The problem is all the artwork I really tend to gravitate towards has a lot of 939, but I have no doubt it's going to look amazing on this canvas. And we have just tons of the black 310 kind of continues throughout here in certain lines, even though this isn't part of her tail. She was holding something here, right? Yes, she is. Okay, so she's holding her bag. That's right. She's got her collector's bag. You can see the treasure chest in the background, the stones. This is probably when she's going through that in the beginning of the movie, you know, where she is going through the sunken ship and she's got her bag. It's too bad Flounder wasn't in here, but so anyway, so this is the this is her bag, and the bag is outlined by the 310 for where the flap goes, and then of course the treasure chest is in the back. Yeah, so I feel like, and then there's just like a little bit, where's the red glimmer? I don't see a ton of it. I thought I saw a little bit of it down here. Nope, I didn't. Because the focus is really like, let's shimmer up her tail, let's shimmer up her, whether it's the black or the teal, and let's shimmer up the red hair. So this is The Collector by Jaded Gem Shop and Jemooshka. I have no doubt that at some point this is going to get a pixel charted. If this gets a pixel charted, I love this canvas so much. I would rarely ever buy something twice, but I would totally do that. I could not wait to get my hands on this canvas because, like I said before, this was one that I had wanted so bad, and I was so sad that she wasn't licensed with Jaded Gem Shop anymore. And as soon as she got licensed, Jade just like casually dropped this, and there's a Sailor Moon piece by the same artist. Jade just like casually dropped this on the new images pages one day, and I don't even think it was a Thursday, which was typically when she would drop new images. And I was like, oh, excuse me, are we just gonna like see if anybody notices and like drop this amazing piece? Okay. So yeah, anyway, that was kind of funny, but very excited to work on this. I do have plans to start this one in January, so this will be joining the whip party in January of 2026, and I imagine this one is going to take me quite a bit of time to work on. So look forward to seeing lots of updates in the month in reviews, and yeah, so if you enjoy diamond painting videos, I do a lot of unboxings, some month in reviews, and I love doing post reviews as well, which will be done for this one for sure. Feel free to stick around and become part of the family here. So I would love to have you. Leave me a comment if you have any questions about this canvas in particular. I know with Jade's canvases it's a little bit trickier because sometimes with the hybrid charts, you don't always get to see that someone else has worked on it because she has so much amazing artwork and it's personalized. You can pick the size, you can pick the amount of special drills. I mean, somebody could order this in a completely different size than me, get completely different specials, and the canvas could look completely different, right, from how mine's gonna look. So I just went with the basic glimmer option. I went with, I think this is the larger of the recommended sizes. That's the other thing. When I said you can choose at Jade's shop different sizes, she has mock-ups on the website. So depending on your budget, you know, you can choose a size that you feel more comfortable working on. Maybe this is too big for you. There are other images, or you can get the same image, sometimes in a cropped version even, which if you get a cropped version and then you working on it in a smaller size often yields more detail than getting the full image in a smaller size. So there's different size options depending on the artwork that you choose. Jade's always got a coupon going on, so you know, definitely hook up on those coupons. I'm not affiliated with her or anything. I am just a massive fan. Yeah, so go give Jaded Gem Shop some love and follow her on socials so you can see what they're up to. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, if you would consider giving a thumbs up and maybe even subscribing to the channel if you enjoy this sort of thing, I'd love to have you. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!